Hi everyone, it is finally that time for some real Vassal World Cup game coverage. I have finished my pod, finished playing my 3 pod games. So now that those are over, I wanted to do battle reports for each of my 3 games. When I put out that poll on the YouTube community page for my channel, heard you guys loud and clear. 3 separate videos for each pod. For each game in pod phase. So I hear you there. I will go ahead and do one video for each. So this is the first video of 3. Hoping to get the rest of them out later this weekend. But this was the first game that I played in my pod. This was against CaribbeanNinja in pod Gilded Aegis. So just going to go over my list a little bit. I'm not going to spend very much time on my list because you're going to be seeing it over and over. And then I will mainly spend time on my opponent's list, and then I've got a series of pictures throughout the game on Vassal. Instead of clicking through every single bit of Vassal, I decided we'll do pictures, kind of like a bit of a slideshow. We'll go into details about what I was thinking and what happened at different parts of the game. But with that being said, as many of you probably know, this is my list. It should look very familiar to those who follow the channel. As you can see by the title there, this is the 12th version of what I've called the Guppy Special, because the Assault Frigate. This is an iteration of my lists that I took to, the list that I've been playing in major tournaments since last year. Took it to LVO, Adepticon, took a break from it for about 4 months or so. Took a different list to Gen Con and some other things, but it's done very well for me. I still really believe in it. So I wanted to run it for this big tournament. It is Agate on an Agate on an Assault Frigate Mark II-A with the classic build that I've been running. I swapped out Paragon for Gallant Haven since probably the last time you guys have seen this list. Man, I tried to carry the torch for Paragon for so long, and it's just not a good card. Gallant Haven is such a good card, and I was kind of giving myself a handicap by not using it. It wasn't doing myself any favors. So finally I fell to the dark side, put Gallant Haven on there. The MC-30 is the same. Torin on one of the transports and Hondo Comsnet on the other one. And then the squad ball is Jan and 7 YT-2400s. So that's kind of the big change. Instead of the big diverse rogue ball, I've resorted to Jan and 7 YT-2400s. It gets me 8 squads, so an even 4 deployments from squads there. And with Gallant Haven, Jan and all the Hull YTs have really lasted a long time. But like I said, I won't spend a ton of time going over my list. I'll do an in-depth breakdown of just this list at some point in the future. Probably when I retire it, I'll do a breakdown of it, talk about all of the interactions and all the stuff I've done with it. But let's look at CaribbeanNinja's list. He's running Mahdi on a Kuat with Palpatine, boarding troopers, ECMs, leading shots, and external Rex. He's got a very skinny Quasar 1 with Hondo and Pursuant, nothing else. I like it because it keeps the Quasar under 50 or under 60 points, and it can still do good work. 2 Gazantes with Comsnet, and then a ball of Vader and the TIE Defender, Jendon, Merrick, Morna, 2 TIE Advance, and 2 TIE Fighters for an even 8 squadrons. This ball is mean. This ball is very good at what it does, both against squads and against squadless. So this is it's a good list. I think if I had to guess, I don't know this for sure. I don't think they're ever going to reveal it, but I'm pretty sure CaribbeanNinja is the 1 seed in my pod. I think I was the 2 seed or the 3 seed. So this, the second I looked at the pod list, I knew this was going to be the hardest game. It's a good list that matches up pretty well against me, and it's a phenomenal player. So without waiting any longer, let's hop in. Looking at it here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Like I said, series of pictures here that we'll go through, but this is deployment. So I had bid. I took second player, and CaribbeanNinja picked my Capture the VIP, which is right there. I like to do this kind of obstacle setup with Capture the VIP. It's one of a couple setups I have for this objective, where I give myself a few options to come at it from different directions and have these paths through the obstacles, give myself some flexibility, but capture the VIP is a very simple objective, so not a whole lot going on there. I've got Torin Far coming up this way. Comsnet is going that way. It was my first ship that I deployed. Likewise for him, he's got both of his transports coming straight ahead. ISD at a bit of an angle there, speed 2. Everything else is speed 1. I've got speed 1 on everything except for Foresight, who is at speed 2. So my plan here at deployment is, the game plan is don't let the Kuat have a huge effect on the game. Because I'm confident in my ability to go even or win the squad war here. And so, because I've got Gallant Haven, Jan, so as long as I play things right, I should probably win the squad war. I don't have as big of a haymaker as he has. CaribbeanNinja's big haymaker of this list is this 14-hull ECMs, external racks, boarding troopers, Kuat here. So that's kind of his win condition, is can the Kuat pop something? Because his squads are not going to really have much opportunity to bomb my stuff. The Quasar is basically meaningless in terms of anti-ship capabilities. So it's really going to be that ISD. And so name of the game for me is don't let something get popped by the ISD. So my thought process here is I have my 2 ships here that can both get in range of this token at the start of turn 2. So I can pick it up with either ship. I don't want to face straight at the ISD ever. Like, my flagship here, the Guppy, can easily take a front arc shot from the ISD, even with boarding troopers. Close range, everything the CaribbeanNinja can throw at me, it can easily take that shot. What it cannot take is a second round of that. So if I get trapped in front of this, then that could be a really big problem. So I want to make sure I'm keeping that at an angle. And that's something I want to go over in a video sometime about how to avoid getting trapped with various ships and positioning them. I think Angry Ewok has some pretty good positioning videos, so you can give those a watch. But basically, the name of the game is stay away from that thing. MC-30 is just going to be kind of hunting opportunistically, see what I can get. I'm never, ever going to try to kill this ISD. It's just too tanky, and it has Palpatine on it. And I don't think I can bring enough guns to bear on it throughout the game to actually bring it down. So I'm just ignoring that, going to try to kill everything else. So this is the end of round 1, going in start of round 2 here. This is the initial movement. So as you can see, I've gone speed 2 on both of these here, so I have maximum flexibility to grab that token. Got my squads kind of in defensive posture all around Gallant Haven here. Comsnet's going to need to pick it up and fly around that way, or else it's going to be out of the game. And then Torin, keeping myself in range in case he jumps me with his squads. I should be able to be in Torin range to flak and or shoot with my squads. Something that I was very impressed with, and we'll get to it in future moves here, is since I'm second player, I always get to go last, but CaribbeanNinja did a fantastic job of making sure this ISD was always threatening both of my capital ships, and it's even doing it right here. He can go, so he'll go with these 3 ships, I go with these 2, and then I have to pick one of these to go with before he goes with the ISD, which means he's going to get good positioning on at least one of my 2 big ships, which I think is very, very well flown by him. He went up to speed 3 here. He's moving in pretty aggressively, so he's making me deal with the ISD. He's not giving me a free just run away and kill everything else kind of game. He's making me deal with it, which I thought was very, very good flying from him. Next we're going to jump. This is the middle of round 2. So this is where basically all of our passing activations have gone. He's gone with both of his Gazantes. I've gone with both of my GR-75s. So this is right before anything meaningful needs to happen. So he's got the option now of going with the Quasar or the ISD. He ends up going with the Quasar here, which is the right play because it gives maximum threat to his ISD. I believe he had a nav on the Quasar, so he's not wasting anything here. Or even if he had a squad, he's already got the token, so he's just going to throw it away and just wait. And so here is where I think some of his best flying comes in. This is the ISD move. I want to zoom in here. I know the quality is not great on this, but it should be good enough to see stuff. So the ISD has moved in speed 3. I went with my assault frigate. I slowed down to 1. I did not pick up the token because I figured that the assault frigate's going to be doing kind of in a big part of the fight, the MC30 gives me a better chance to get out and still contribute. And so going to save it and pick it up with the MC30 here at the end. But I moved up speed 1 because I was thinking about where he could threaten, and he got this beautiful situation here where he's got the double arc on the assault frigate, and he's threatening wherever I can land with this MC30. This is really a beautiful movie. He puts himself in a great position to fork and gives me no really good options. So I had to give him a little round of applause for that one. This is what I ended up deciding to do with the MC30. I'm navving here. I pick up the token. I go to 3. I take my extra click at the first joint and then use 2 clicks here at the second joint to sit just in his side arc. So ordinarily, like if I was first player here, that's a great threatening position for the MC30 to be in. Got double arc, got my racks, I'm ready to go. But he's first player, he's going to go with that ISD first. So I needed to make sure that I couldn't get out of close no matter where I went. So priority number 2 is just get out of the front arc, because the MC30 with the ISD having racks, it can't really take that front shot. So I needed to get somewhere just in that side. It still may take a pounding here, but I fiddled around with it for a long time, and this is the best move I had. This is something I wanted to draw attention to. So start of squad phase, he went first. He moved a tie over here and an interceptor over here, kind of buying time. I moved 2 YTs up here and shot his front twice. Not so much to try to bring that ISD down, but just to kind of say, hey, if you're going to let me free fire, I am going to take the shots that I'm given. So if you're going to let me strip all the shields off that ISD, then I maybe will try to kill it. So I did those. He then counters by going tie advanced from here to set up the escort, because he moves Morna in and attacks my my unguarded MC30 here. Now, this decision I've gone over in my head a lot, and we kind of had a bit of a peanut gallery watching the game, led by Fox Omega, and I think they were talking about this play in said peanut gallery while they were watching. But this is an interesting decision to bring Morna up. So my assumption is, and based on what he does next turn, it kind of makes sense of, I don't have that guarded right now. He sees an opportunity to step up and strip some shields to eventually shoot with the ISD next round and try to kill the MC30 there. Because if he can kill the MC30 and then get out with everything, suddenly the game's looking very good for him. The place that would make me hesitate is I've still got 5 YTs left to go this round, and he's got 1 escort up there currently, and he already moved his other tie advanced. So all I need to do is send a couple YTs to kill that escort, and I can start hitting Morna. She kind of goes down fast. 8 hull with just a single brace. It's not inconceivable for me to get 2 to 3 damage and an accuracy on every YT roll, especially with Torin being right here. So this was a risky maneuver right here. He ends up dealing 2 damage. He rolled 2 hits, did not spend his brace. I foresighted, made him reroll both. He still got 2 hits. So I moved those to the side there. But this ends up, I think, being something that kind of turns the squad war, because I then move up and I send this YT to shoot this tie advanced right here, because I have to. And then I move Jan with my second move, because I'm sure that he's still got some rogues left. He's going to pounce in here and try to kill this YT that's protecting Foresight. So I just move Jan up right within distance 2 so I can get those braces, and that ends up being huge, because he does end up moving, I believe this is Vader right here. He moves up Vader, shoots, does 4 damage, braced 2 with Jan, taps Jen, then shoots again, 4 damage, braced 2 with Jan. And normally when that YT would die, now it's still alive on 2. I then move my stuff up, I wipe out the escort here, and then the rest of my YTs shoot Morna, and I think she's down at 3 health there, which is fantastic for me. I've already gotten an escort. He also moved a singular TIE fighter up here, and I killed that as well. So I've already got one of the advance and one of the normal TIE fighters off the board, and Morna below half health, and all I've taken in return is 2 shield damage on the MC30 and 4 damage on this YT. Haven't lost any pieces yet, and really haven't lost too much of value. So that's a great trade for me, and that's why I probably would have held, if I was Caribbean Ninja, I probably would have held my squads back one more round. But yeah, that's just how the game ended up going. So this is the end of the round. This is the end of round 2. Start of round 3 here. We've got that same situation, just a more zoomed out view, so you can see the picture of the battlefield. He's obviously going to go first with that ISD, so I just have to, respond from there. So this is the start of round 3. The ISD activated first, and he did boarding troopers, and he boarding troopers both of my redirects on the MC30. He had both of these ships at close, so he had options. But he decided he's going to try to kill the MC30, so he flips both my redirects. He goes ahead and does a squad command first on the ISD, activating 2 squads. So he sends in the TIE Advanced, does 2 damage, Jan braces to 1. Jan's just so freaking good. And then the TIE Fighter steps up and deals the last damage and kills that YT, so now I've lost some material. He goes ahead and rolls. Was that the next one? Yeah. He rolls this against the MC30. This is his side to my front, I believe, or side to side. I don't remember exactly. They both have 3 shields. This is his initial roll after Rax, and it is a pretty good roll, staring down the barrel of 8 damage there. So I did, the classic Foresight thing, and I discarded one of my evades and said re-roll all the doubles. And Foresight came through for me in a beautiful way, 8 down to 5. That's about exactly how much I'm comfortable taking. I would have been comfortable taking 6 damage, maybe 7 at a push, but that would have stripped basically all my shields. But I'll take 5 damage. 8 down to 5, that's fantastic. So this ends up being the roll that hits me. Take down some shields, but no hull damage. And kept most of my tokens. I end up, I keep 1 of each. I burned an evade to reroll the 3 doubles, and then I burn a redirect here to not take any hull damage. But all things considered, still very much alive. This is the front shot from the ISD here. He elected not to take the double arc into the ISD, instead just goes for the front. He rolls in accuracy and another 8 damage. I forget what he blocked. I think he may have blocked the redirect here, because I took double brace with Agate. But this is, I think he did block redirect. This is kind of a nothing shot for the assault frigate. With the braces and how much hull I've got with my reinforced blast doors, I just brace to 4, take it all on the front. So all things considered, from like the one big activation of the Kuat this game, ships weathered it very well. Here's his move with the ISD after that. Goes speed 2, kind of came around like this to keep some threat here. But at this point, I kind of know that I'm home free in terms of my ships. My ships are going to live. The big worry for me is losing one of those 2 ships early, which then makes me have to kind of climb out of a hole. But both my ships are still in perfectly working order here, so I'm feeling all right. Might have some tough maneuvering ahead of me here, but for now, I'm feeling good. So, we move next to, we've done some transport activations here. I went ahead and activated the squads here with Tor and Far. Activated 2 squads. What I did was, and I don't think I needed to do this in hindsight, but my thought process was I may end up moving the MC30 somewhere over here before I have squads there and before he goes with any of these squads, which may end up meaning that the MC30 starts to take some hits from like Vader and Merrick and stuff, which I did not want to happen, because that's when things start to get scary. In damage tests with the MC30, if I let too many of those double or triple dice squads hit me, the MC30 can kind of fold, particularly without expert shield techs, which I do not have. So I moved 2 YTs, shot at Morna and killed Morna, and then moved up to here. Like they were back here. I moved them up. They both shoot Morna and kill her. And now they are in a spot to where if I land somewhere up here, they may still be engaging these squads and keep me relatively safe. But in hindsight, I don't really think I needed to do that. But that was just my thought process. So Morna's dead. The consequence of him leaving her so far forward is that she dies without getting to do anything else the rest of the game, which is a big win for me. Next, we've got the Assault Frigate move here. I elected this turn to go last with the MC-30, so I could get great positioning with it. So he has now gone with both Gazantes, and I'm going with the Assault Frigate. I ended up going with this move. I was pretty sure I could jump here no problem at speed 3, and I had plenty of space to spare. I chose this because this is at speed 1 currently, and I think even at speed 3 it can't get past me, and so I've kind of trapped this Quasar. I haven't trapped it permanently by any stretch, but I'm making sure that it can't speed 3 move this round and get too far away from me, because now that I've survived the IST, the game plan is kill all the squads and try to kill everything else. So I ended up doing this move here. Still means I'm going to take a shot from the Quasar this round, but it's just going to be 3 blues. I do, however, give him a double arc on my Assault Frigate, which I'm going to come back to in a future picture here. But for now, this was that move that turn. He goes with Quasar, activates a bunch of squads. He ends up killing another one of my YTs right here, and then flying away with Merrick and Jendon. And then the rest of these things are all kind of tied up right here. But he got another YT off the board, so I'm down to 5. He also went with this ship. Did a little bit of damage here. I think it got a shield off of me or something like that. And like I said, he could not speed 3 past me. So he goes to speed 2 and stops right there. And next turn he'll end up somewhere over here. So this is kind of exactly what I wanted. I think I also have the double arc here, so it forces him to go first with this Quasar or risk losing it. Approaching the end of the round here. This is my MC-30 move. This is going to be another thing I come back to. So I spent a long time looking and decided this was my best play. I end up with a little overlap here, but speed 2, double click at the first joint. Gets me close range out each side at these Gazantes. Now, these are Mahdi Gazantes, so they've got the 4 hull, which means shooting out my sides without racks is not guaranteed kills with their ability to reroll. But it's a decent opportunity for me to kill both of them in one activation. So that's what I wanted to set up here. Is he's got to go first with the Quasar. I set up the double kill here, and then we're out with the VIP token. Here is, I believe this is end of round here. Yeah, so this is end of round. I guess technically start of round 4. I moved Jan up so that she can help out all these dudes here, because that's how one of my YTs died, is I was not in Gallant Haven range and I was not in Jan range. And so they tend to die kind of quick if neither of those conditions are met. So now Jan is here protecting everybody. I'm very happy with how I played Jan in this game. I feel like I kept her safe, but also still useful for a lot of the game. I have wiped out his other advanced and his TIE fighter, and we are starting to focus down Vader here. So we're in a good spot for the squad war. I have the double arc that I want here. I've got the double threat right there, so we're in a good spot going into round 4. So he goes first with Quasar, like I said. Still gives me the double arc, I think, right here. Or at the very least, side to front and front to side. So yeah, it's a good spot there. And this was his move. This is a consequence of me kind of blocking, because now he's at speed 2. He did a squad command, tried to kill more of my stuff, but Jan being Jan, he had Vader shoot, Merrick shoot, and then Vader shoot, Merrick shoot again with Jendon, and that YT's still alive, so Jan is fantastic. Ended up burning one of her braces, but that's okay. So he is moved here. So now I am faced with this decision. And this is the one spot in the game where I really feel like I screwed up. This ended up having a pretty decently big implications for the game and for the tournament as a whole. I made a big mistake here. So the Quasar has gone. It is my activation. I have to decide if I want to go with the MC-30 and potentially one-shot both of these transports, just totally blow them up in one activation and then get out, or if I want to go with the assault frigate and 100% ensure that I don't die. I was low on shields here because the Quasar shot me twice. It had double arc on me. It did a couple damage. I'm low on shields, and that ISD has a double arc both at close range. So it's going to be 4 dice out the side, 3 out the rear. At the time, I was mainly, since this was my opening game of the Vassal World Cup this year, had a little bit of nerves and a little bit of, just don't die. At this point in the game, I'm winning. I'm 100% winning right now in this game. My goal is just don't die. And that really influenced my decision here. So, in hindsight, the assault frigate can almost certainly deal with that shot there. That double arc. I may end up taking some hull damage, but I've got reinforced blast doors. I should be fine. I was just thinking that I'm going to spend the rest of the game chasing this Quasar, and it's going to be able to do between 3 and 5 damage per round to me. Am I going to be able to take that? I don't want to discard too many tokens or lose all my shields or take too much hull damage from this ISD shot to where I don't feel confident chasing that Quasar. Because I know if I go first with the assault frigate right here, I can get over here on the Quasar and just chase it the rest of the game and be in no danger whatsoever. However, if I take this ISD shot and it's kind of a bad shot, then I might be a little hesitant to chase the rest of the game. So I think that this was a mistake by me. I went with the assault frigate instead of the MC-30, and we're going to come back to why that really bit me in the butt. But I go with the assault frigate just to make sure I don't lose it and to make sure I can chase. So take some shots. I LTT at Vader over here and kill him there. Just needed 2 damage, and I think I got 3 or 4. So Vader's dead. I may have even ruthlessed him. I think I did. I think I ruthlessed off of this. But regardless, all I needed to do was get 1 damage through and then ruthless Vader to kill him. So I did that, and then I shot my side to the front of the Quasar and did some damage there. And then I did this move, and I'm very, very happy with this move. It puts me in a fantastic spot to chase the rest of the game. Still keeps a double arc on the Quasar, so it has to go first next round. So I'm happy with this. The problem is that he is then able to go with one of these Gazantes and get them out, and that ends up being a big thing down the road. So in hindsight, should have gone with the MC-30 first here, tried to kill both these. Still no guarantee that I can kill both of them in one activation. I can definitely kill one with racks because I got H9s, but second one's kind of up in the air. But anyway, that's a live and learn kind of moment. So we move on here. This is the start of round 5. So what has happened here is he went with this outside Gazanti and got out of range of this MC-30. So I went with the MC-30 next, one-shot this Gazanti and moved up here. I think I even flaked at something. And then the rest of the ships just kind of moved around. The ISD is not relevant anymore at all, which I think is kind of the problem with a big heavy hammer like this with the Kuat is once the Kuat comes in and does its thing, that's kind of it. If it can't trap something, that's kind of all it does. Moved the rest of my stuff up here. I went ahead and killed Merrick with these guys with a squad command, and then setting myself up to chase after Jendon, who is trying to run away. I also sent 2 YTs over here to start fighting this Quasar because it's in a position where I'm going to try to kill it. It's actually at 6 hull here, not 7. He took the cards appropriately. He just had not updated the hull there in this picture. So I figured I'm going to need the YTs to help me kill it. It's Mahdi. It's got both its tokens. The assault frigate's not going to be able to take it by itself. So I knew I needed to bring 2. What I end up doing is I send Jan and a YT to go deal with Jendon because Jendon can't really hurt me. And then I bring a 3rd YT down here to help out with this Quasar. So this is the start of round 5. This is the assault frigate shot that I got. He went first, obviously, with this. Peppered me a little bit more with it. And then this is my side arc shot at medium. So it's a pretty good one. It's 4 dice. I think I rolled decently well there. I think it was at accuracy and 3 damage. So we're hitting it a little bit more, trying to weaken it. I did a squad command to go up there and mess with Jendon and then bring this YT down here. So turn 6, I can try to get into bombing range. We move to start of the last round, start of round 6. These ships and these ships are not relevant to the rest of the game. I flaked. I even cycled with skilled first officer to get a Confire to try to do extra damage to Jendon. Still did just 1. And then I've got both these guys up here who are keeping Jendon locked down. So Jendon is doomed. And then I moved these 2 guys in here to bomb after this Quasar. 1 hit and 1 missed. And I thought that miss was going to be the nail in the coffin on trying to kill that Quasar. And then I've got this position to come down here. So, of course, he goes with the Quasar first, gets to long range, but I get a pretty good shot here after my LTT reroll on this Quasar. It's got 1 relevant shield, so I block brace and I'm gonna get 2 hull damage through here, which takes it from 5 down to 3, which is big. It leaves me a chance still, and then I kill Jendon off screen, and the final thing of the game that we have to do is send these 3 YTs. I can get all of them to the rear of the Quasar here, and so we just said, all right, roll 3 blacks. If all of them hit, the Quasar dies, and my boys came through for me. Got all 3 hits, so Quasar went down. Still didn't change a whole lot score-wise, but it improved my MOV, and it was nice to work on the Quasar so long and then take it down. So the game ended up being 266 to 48 in my favor because I scored the VIP. I killed all of his squads. I killed a Gazanti and his Quasar, and in return, he killed 3 of my YTs. The crucial part about that is that is a margin of victory of 218, and to get it's an 8-3 with a margin of victory of 218. A 9-2, all I needed was 2 more points. If I get to 220, that's a 9-2. And in a tournament like this, that is huge, to leave a tournament point on the table there by 2 kill points. So I was not thrilled. And that is where I would like to go back to this crucial moment right here, where I went with the assault frigate instead of the MC-30. Because let's say MC-30 goes first here, and I get the dice I need, and I kill both of these transports. That is 2 sets of flak dice off the table. That is potentially squad commands off the table. This YT probably lives. Because if these are gone, he has no way to activate these ships until the squadron phase. I've got a squad command right here, and I've got flak dice on Vader. This YT probably gets out, because I can move Jan up, get grit, get this guy out of there. That saves me 16 points. That's a 9-2. On top of that, if I kill both of these, that gets me the extra points I need by killing the second Gazanti. That gets me a 9-2. So this ends up being just a very poor choice, a poor calculation by me. A couple things. A, I should have known, I've played 50 games with this Agate assault frigate. I know how much damage it can take. I knew that it could survive that. I just kind of got scared. Secondly, I should have run the numbers on this round. Like, I should have gone and looked at CaribbeanNinja's list and looked at what we had each lost at this point and what we will presumably lose, and think, okay, if I can kill both these Gazantis and still chase and kill this Quasar, then that's a 9-2. I should have looked at the math. I didn't look at the math until later in the game, and I ended up being 2 points short. So the start of my Vassal World Cup, still a success. In what I think is my hardest matchup of the pod, I win 8-3, which I was very happy with. All I wanted to do is win this game, even if it was 6-5. Coming out with an 8-3 with a very high MOV is a fantastic start to the pod. So I, ultimately, as frustrated as I was for leaving points on the table, I can't complain. That's a great start. So that wraps up the report for Game 1 of my pod phase. I will try to get Games 2 and 3 done this weekend. If not this weekend, then early next week. I will be going to LVO on Thursday, the Las Vegas Open. So if any of you guys are going to be there, please say hi. I would love to meet you. I will be competing in that tournament. But for that reason, I won't have any content for a good 5 or 6 days starting on Thursday. But I hope to get the 2 other pod games out before then, and then kind of do a wrap-up of how my pod did. But we will go from there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Look forward to more Vassal World Cup content coming soon. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.